Coming up in this episode of the KickCast, a perfect solution for covering those serving trays, grind the perfect coffee for your Aerobee, and get into the RC car's driver's seat. Plus, we have a special guest host. All that more coming up, so sit back and relax. It's time for the KickCast. Hey everybody, it is time for another episode of the KickCast, the podcast where we go out and find projects and let you know if you should backtrack or sack them. I am Ktdata, want to have the show, and unfortunately Drew is out on a mission. He's being a cultured artsman or something. That's where he is. But joining me is one of my other favorite people in the world. I'll tell you the truth, my podcast peoples are some of my favorite peoples in the world. And the only cousin who's willing to do a podcast with me. Hopefully this isn't the episode where my other cousins watch, because they always call me out. Host of Twitch and Kitchen and crap, I can't remember your game stream.
Nothing. It's just me.
So it is the one and only Cousin Jane. Yay!
Yay! Yeah, I don't have a gaming title.
I don't know.
Just me gaming.
She's the cooler streamer out of this family of streaming cousins. Yeah, I don't even stream anymore. I just do the show and that's it. But cousin, welcome back to the show and thanks for filling in for Drew.
I missed it.
So everybody thinks Drew's watching porn. Drew is definitely not watching porn.
No. No.
Right.
Like the farthest from what he's doing.
So
hopefully.
I know he's watching a play right now. Like that's literally what he's doing. So if this is your first time watching the show, first of all, welcome. And yeah, I'm this crazy all the time, and I don't know why my co-hosts hang around for any of the shows, but
we don't either.
But I'm super excited today. So before we go into our projects tonight, we have two quick news articles that are kind of actually semi-related to each other. Cousin, I can't remember if you were around before, but does Hasbro holding a competition on Indiegogo sound familiar to you?
Nope, I wasn't around.
Okay, that might have been Alex then. But so they've done this a couple times. So they did it once last year, and then at the beginning of last year, and then at the tail end they did another one. I actually saw the game that won the first one they did on Indiegogo in stores at Target. It's called Mr. Toast. It's about Mr. Toast doing stuff. But they launched one in the fall of 2016, and they finally got the winner. So the whole idea of this Hasbro project is you put together a game with their theme. This time it was a family face-to-face game. So you would put together a game that you like. You submit it to them. They would pick a handful of them and put them on Indiegogo. And whoever would raise the most money on Indiegogo would win a $25,000 prize and a trip to Hasbro to help refine your game and get it published and stuff.
Oh, cool.
So they finally got a winner because the voting ended in late February, and the winner is Eugene Bryant, and he has a game called Cloud Control where you have a timer going, and then you have these little tiles that have cloud shapes on them, and what you want to do is before time runs out, make a shape of a recognizable object, and everybody else who's at the table has to guess what that is, and you get points for how fast you can do it.
Oh, cool.
Before you go out. So that you guys will probably be seeing pretty soon in stores once they get it published and stuff. Because the nice thing about this is you get Hasbro to help you out. And then he's also going to be one of the judges, and one of the advisors he's going to be is one of the guys from Shark Tank. I don't watch Shark Tank, so I don't know any of them. But that's kind of cool.
I know that there's a woman, a bald guy, Mark Cuban. That's pretty much it. That's all I remember.
Of course you know the guy who's from Texas.
Of course I know him.
So congratulations and to Eugene, and I'm excited because this game looks like it'd be fun to do, and it's kind of easy, and little kids can pick it up.
Boggle.
Yeah, but you can't play Boggle with little kids because they can't spell.
I know, but it's kind of like the concept of Boggle.
And you can't play with me either because I can't spell either.
Yes, correct.
Both definitely has an L in it, okay? Okay, so to our next news item that we had. It's on Kickstarter. Um, so you've been on Kickstarter before, cousin. You've seen a lot of different projects on there, right?
Oh yeah,
So this month,
at least 12.
at least 12. So this month, Kickstarter is celebrating their 10,000th funded games project. There has
That's
been,
just games.
yes, 10,000
and funded games.
Yeah, funded games too, not just submitted. That they actually reached their goal and they're having money and they're going to be publishing it. So Kickstarter has reached their 10,000th one, which is kind of crazy nuts. Because when they launched in 2009, the first person to do a project wanted just to make 9 interconnected crossword puzzles, and 163 people backed that. Now it's already at 10,000. And what's nuts is I looked at some of the stats they gave us. So 2.46 million people have backed a game crowdfunding project. So not just any kind of crowdfunding project, but specifically a game one, and then pledging $613 million. So this is obviously why Hasbro's like, yeah, let's use crowdfunding to help make some of this stuff. And then what's even more nuts, so out of that 2.46 million, 1.45 million of those have backed more than once. I am definitely one.
Sense.
I am definitely one of them. Have you ever backed like a board game or a video game on Kickstarter?
No, but I have at like PAX.
So like
it wasn't. I mean, it was like kind of IRL crowdfunding, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, what's kind of crazy about the way I think about them is because you have your big video games and stuff, but you also have board games, and board games are so big. Like in Utah, everybody plays board games, and everybody has board game nights and stuff. It is just like, well, then again, I live in Utah in the middle of nowhere. So everybody's playing board games, and everybody just, I think Salt Lake is the second largest city in terms of board game Kickstarters, which is kind of nuts.
Huh.
So I don't know. Do you kind of have the inkling next time you are looking for the next board game you're gonna be hopping on Kickstarter?
Well, I mean, it's always cool. I mean, like what I was talking about at PAX, there was a beer game. It's like I don't know. It's like what do you call it? One where there's like, I don't know. Anyway, it's a beer card game, and he actually started out on Kickstarter. And so he came to PAX to kind of introduce more people to his game now that it had been funded, and gave exposure and is giving exposure to different expansions that he has. What really drew me to it was the coffee expansion, because I'm a coffee person. So like, I like beer, and it's cool to have like characteristics of beer. But what really drew me in was because I said, oh, this is sort of like, because I worked at Starbucks, we had coffee passports. He's like, I have a coffee expansion coming soon. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I ended up buying it just for that, because he's so passionate about his game. Like, he puts like everything he owns into this just so he can like fund it. And he's so passionate about sharing it with others and telling people why it's so great and listening to people's ideas. And that's like essentially what Kickstarter and Indiegogo, like what they do, they get people passionate about their ideas. And I think it's great.
Yeah, and Gooby Dooby does bring up the point. Some of the most popular games that people play now, Cards Against Humanity, that was a Kickstarter project. Mm-hmm. Exploding Kittens, that was a Kickstarter project. I don't even know why I still keep buying Cards Against Humanity expansions. I don't even.
It's just fun.
I actually don't play it that much anymore because I played it so much.
Joking Hazard.
I have that too. Joking Hazard. I have the Red Box edition.
Oh, yeah. 2 of my viewers actually got theirs, the Red Box, and they got it signed at PAX South because the creator was there.
Yeah. Oh, I really got to find this, but I remember when they visited Salt Lake Comic Con one year, I bought the Cyanide and Happiness.
They would go to Salt Lake.
What? It was awesome. So I actually have the Cyanide and Happiness plush characters. So all the characters, they're sitting on top of my vinyls right now. But one of the things that you get, because I spent all that money is they would sketch something for you. So I went up to them and they're like, "What theme do you want?" I'm like, inappropriate cosplay.
Well, that's easy for them.
Yeah, they were having so much fun drawing it, and I loved every bit of that. So one of these days, I'm gonna find that picture, frame it, and then I'll tweet out a picture of it, and hopefully no one's gonna get mad because I do know there's a penis costume somewhere there.
Well, you did ask for it.
Yeah. All right. So we don't have any kick shouts today. So those usually are just quick shout outs to projects that caught our eye and stuff. Actually, I have one real quick. If you were a fan of the anime Sword Art Online, they have a board game on Kickstarter right now, and you better believe I backed it, even though I hated the second half of that anime. But the first half of that anime was awesome. So make sure you guys check that out on Kickstarter, Sword Art Online. Okay, so on to our first project tonight. So like we mentioned at the beginning of the show, cousin, you do Twitch and Kitchen where you're making food live on the interwebs.
Yep.
And so I don't know have you made like large amounts of food where you got to take it to a potluck and stuff?
I was the caterer. I was the caterer for my parents' anniversary party.
Yeah. So you
and I live 45 minutes away from them.
Yeah. So you've probably had experiences with those like tinfoil trays, right? The large ones and like the double ones.
Yeah.
And then what's always surprised me is because like no matter where you go, when people use that, what do you have on top? It's just
plastic.
Plastic, or they just took tinfoil and just like wrapped it on
like a really thin piece of plastic that came with it, or tinfoil. Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing that sucks is once somebody digs into it, it's just like it's not going to work. The plastic starts sticking to itself. The tinfoil is going to start the tinfoil is going to rip in the first one or two times somebody tries to cover and recover it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's always boggled my mind that there hasn't really been a good solution for that. So like our first project of the night is called Easy Lids, and their whole goal is to kind of help solve that problem. So what it is this little plastic lid. But it's not just a lid that you can just take off and it would take up more space. It has these little doors that you can swing up and actually access the food. So you don't even have to uncover the whole entire tray if you want. And what's even cooler is they actually put little holes. So yeah, this is usually the problem I have is the tinfoilness. But like, so this is their solution, and what's great about it is they even put these little holes. I wonder if I can get a picture of it somewhere. On each of the sides. So if you have like a ladle or a spoon that you're using to dig in, you can close the lid, and it has that hole, so the spoon or the handle of the spoon just sticks out on the side.
The sixth picture on their little slideshow thing.
And I love that idea just because it makes just life so much easier. I mean, you see you have a spatula or whatever.
Yeah.
And I like how it has the two doors. What I didn't even think of until I actually saw their video is they took the half trays, the smaller trays, and put it in one of the big ones. And then now that lid's covering both of them, so you can like have your green beans on one side and your corn or whatever on the other side. And if the person only wants the corn, they just open that one side and keeps the other side warm.
That's cool.
So, like, does this look like something you would want to use?
Yeah, I mean, I don't do a lot of catering, but I can see, like, churches doing stuff with this, and, like, anybody who is constantly having parties. This, I think, is, like, a great idea.
Yeah, and, like, it's a little bit pricey, because, it's $15 for the half pan, or $20 for the full pan, but I don't think it's too bad.
You're going to use it over and over again. Yeah.
And what I like about this is because it's that nice in between step. Because you can go to like those professional caterers have like the metal things and then their fancy lids and stuff, right? But you're not going to take that out to like a family reunion or something, right?
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I would.
Yeah.
I can't keep a ton of stuff here because our apartment's too small. So throwaway stuff is perfect for me. But I kind of like this because you can take something that you don't have to wash and like make it last longer with this.
Yeah, and what's great about it is it's fully dishwasher safe and stuff too, so you can just throw it into your dishwasher once you're done. Yeah, I really like this idea because sometimes it's just those simple things that just like why hasn't this existed before?
Yeah, it makes sense. Like I would see this in like a Walmart or a Dollar General. Like this should already be in existence.
Yeah, I also like how the entire chat room thinks I just want to eat food. I always want to eat food,
Yeah.
guys. There's a reason why we had a food show.
Yeah, that's why you invited me to this one. Because we know our food.
Yeah. All right, so is this a backtrack or sack for you?
I think this would be a back for me.
Yeah, I love this.
And it looks very like it's going to last.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's
like
jerry-rigged
durable.
either.
Yeah, I think that the person who created this like knew exactly who their target audience was going to be, and they made it exactly for that person.
Yeah, so that is the Easy Lids. You can find it on Indiegogo. It's a back for me too because I just
that is a high praise. I could see this in Walmart or Dollar General. That is a high praise.
Hey,
like this looks like something that should already be in existence and people should already have.
And in a retail store, like you guys don't realize how difficult it is to get shelf space on a retail store. Like I know people whose entire job is to analyze what sells and what doesn't sell, and they use that information to determine what gets to stay on their shelves or not. And I'm talking about large big box stores. So that's actually pretty good. All right, so on to our next project, and this is a great one because Drew doesn't drink coffee, so anytime I bring a coffee related project up, he's like, "Yeah, sure, that sounds cool. I have no experience, but yeah, that sounds really cool." So how about you introduce us to our next project?
I love coffee, and I actually like. Here's my coffee cup. I've been drinking. Bobby 3 got me a French press for Christmas like 2 years ago, and I didn't actually start using it until this year, probably, or maybe the end of last year, just because I have a Keurig. But anyway, like you've had,
but with the French press,
coffee,
probably
right?
I drink lots of coffee, cousin. There's a reason.
Do you drink Keurig coffee? I mean, or do you drink like coffee maker?
At my office, I do because they have, but it's not Keurig. They have those. It's the Flava pod things.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm not a big fan of them. Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
But it's there, and I pay for it.
Yeah, and that's kind of like with me. Like, Jesse didn't drink coffee forever. Like, just didn't until he realized that he was drinking so much Mountain Dew that finally he's like, maybe I should just try to.
You showed him the light.
So, like, about 2 months ago, he got into coffee. So it's like a very exciting time right now.
Wow. Because he hasn't tried a cold brew yet, has he?
We have any new viewers, but I worked at Starbucks for 7 years, and so I am very passionate about coffee. So I know how espresso works, and
you were a coffee master too, right?
Yes, I was. I had a black apron. I taught seminars on coffee. I was like that passionate about coffee. So, like, you know how Keurig is acceptable. Instant coffee, borderline unacceptable, pretty much acceptable to the point where at least you're drinking something hot with caffeine. I'd rather you just drink tea at that point. But
better than it coming out of a red coffee can bucket-like thing, or they're plastic now, aren't they?
Oh, Folgers?
Yeah.
Folgers actually is getting better. Like, they're at least using Arabica beans. So, anyway, so I stress the importance of, if you enjoy a good cup of coffee, you're not going to enjoy your Folgers, you're not going to enjoy your Keurig as much because you're not grinding your coffee fresh. Mm-hmm. And this, like, I found... It's called an air grind, or I didn't find it. He showed it to me, so I'm not going to lie. But I really like the idea of this because I have an AeroPress. What an AeroPress is, it's this plastic tube that you...
it's pretty much like a giant syringe.
Kind of, yeah. It presses an espresso shot through it. So you're going to have your tube, you're going to have a plastic piece at the bottom, a filter, you're going to put coffee in it, you're going to put water, and then you're going to press it like onto like a cup or something, and it'll press the espresso through it. Because what espresso is concentrated coffee, pretty much. So this is the air grind, because sometimes people who have an AeroPress, they have an AeroPress because they don't have room for an espresso machine, which also means they more than likely don't have room for a grinder. And this kind of takes care of that, because it's called the air grind, and it kind of copies the first part of it after the AeroPress, because the tube actually fits inside of an AeroPress.
Yeah, you see the
and
picture.
I thought that was so cool. So yeah, grinding your coffee fresh makes for an even better tasty cup of coffee. So I think this is really cool. It kind of works like a pepper mill. So yeah,
are you one of those people? Because I know there's those people out there like, yeah, I don't use a machine to grind any of my beans. I prefer it to be hand ground, so I can get the particle size perfect the way I need it.
No, I mean, I can see people wanting to do that. I use a burr grinder that I got. It's like a Mr. Coffee brand.
Yeah, I have one of
and
those
I
too.
can see like the burr grinders are better because they do give you a more consistent grind, but it's still a very quick grind. Mm-hmm. So like it'll do it a lot slower, and you have like more feel into it.
I like it because when you watch the video, it tells you how many turns. So for Aerobee, it's only 2.5 turns. So you do two full turns and a half, and then you're ready to go, which is great. And you know that's an important part about espressos, right? Grinding it properly, or you're gonna have like weird particles. In your coffee.
Well. Espresso is supposed to be as finely ground as possible, or you're going to get like a watery shot. But yeah, this will do like espresso stuff, and I think it'll pretty much. I didn't look entirely like all into it to see how much you could adjust the grind. I do see like numbers. Is it at the top of it? I think I can see.
Yeah.
Yeah, the numbers are at the top, so that'll kind of show how fine or how coarse you want it to be ground.
Yeah, and I love this idea too, because one, it's not their first project they actually have created. This is the third one. They actually started out with a larger one that almost was the size of a pepper mill type thing, and then they got a smaller one, and then after 2 years of kind of perfecting it and making sure they got the mechanics right, they shrunk it down smaller for this Aerobee AeroPress. I mean, I love the AeroPress, and it's ironically made by a Frisbee company.
I didn't know that.
Aerobee's those guys that make the kid Frisbees and stuff, and somehow they have a coffee maker that's amazing.
That is cool.
So I'm guessing this one's a back for you, right?
Oh yeah, I have a grinder, but this just like I have an AeroPress. And it makes sense if you can grind directly into the thing, so you're not wasting a cup or a filter or whatever. You can just go straight into it. And when you're living like a minimalistic life, like that makes sense to do it like that.
And the whole idea is to keep it portable too, because I didn't know this, but apparently people take their AeroPresses with them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, camping or like it's really easy to make coffee. All you need is just the coffee and water.
Yeah. Oh, I actually have a. Reminds me, I need to do a batch of cold brew coffee.
I do too.
Yeah. I'll tell you, of the coffee related products I have backed on Kickstarter, all of them have been cold brewers. So
really, I didn't know that.
So I have I have the toffee one that kind of just drips, or that you it doesn't drip.
Top one.
You just throw the grinds in and it floats in there overnight, and then you drain it. So I have that one. Or toddy, that's called toddy. But I also have the cold brewer, which is the drip one that slowly just drips drop by drop through, and it uses actually an Aerobee AeroPress filter for that. So you're only using about the same amount of coffee that you make for an AeroPress.
Cool.
And
that's
you just
like that.
Yeah, it takes a lot longer because you're going drip by drip, but it's awesome.
Yeah. That's how I used to bake mine anyways. Like I would take an actual filter and let it filter through, and it takes forever, but it tastes really good.
Yeah. So that obviously is back for both of us because yay, coffee lovers. Coffee is an art, my friends. All right. So for our last project of the night, this is a cool one. So, cousin, do you know what? So you know how there's racing drones now, right?
Yeah.
And what a lot of them do, they're called FPV drones, which are first person view drones. So what you're doing is you wear a VR headset or whatever, and you're piloting the drone while you're racing each other like that, and all you see is the view of the drone going around the course.
Mm-hmm.
Which is that is a totally cool thing. Our last project of the night kind of takes that because the problem with the drone is one, you got to know how to fly the drones, and they're a little costly too, just because they're flying and you got all this video transferring. So our last project of the night, and this was voted by you guys, is called Gnarly Racers, and it takes that idea and they're tiny first-person view RC cars. So I've actually always wanted to do this because you see it in the commercials all the time, right? When they're advertising RC cars, you can get that view of the RC car. So these are actual RC cars that have cameras built into them. That you wear a VR headset and you're driving like you are in the actual VR car.
Oh, that's so cool.
I love that you get the live video with it, and then these are designed. I don't know a lot about RC cars, but from the specs I was reading, some of these can go up to 20 miles per hour.
Huh.
So they have the kind of, these guys are building them like the more higher end RC cars that you can get at hobby shops and stuff, and then they put the camera into them, and it's like, so it's about 3 inches wide and 2 inches tall, 2.5 inches tall, or 5 inches long. So it's a decent sized car, and you can race pretty well. So here's the VR headset that you can wear and put on. So I think it uses your phone, or it comes with its own screen. Yeah, so it uses its own screen, and it's not using kind of, the gear ratios and stuff are all from the higher end racing cars instead of some of the toy cars, because there's a difference between the two, and that's how you can like change gears and get different speeds and stuff to go along with it. And then of course you can charge it through the controller, so that's always good, or through a USB port if you need to. So like, this looks like it's so much fun.
Yeah, it looks like just one of those toys that you want. Like, this is something I would have asked for if I was like 11.
Yeah,
like,
this is like actual video from the cars. It's I think it's 1080p video, and I love it. And the funny thing is,
cool.
the project that they made before this, it was drones. They spun off to make RC cars, and
this is super cool, because this is like that urge to like shrink down into your toys and control them. Because I don't know, like I used to love Barbies as a kid, and I always wanted to like shrink down and live in the houses that Barbies lived in and wear the clothes that they wore, because they dressed and lived so much nicer than I did. So this kind of like
cheaper too.
Yeah. Yeah. Except you have to have some like large giant like controlling your every move. But this, you get to kind of like live as if you live inside of that little car. Like, this is your little car.
Yeah, and so they're a little bit pricey. What's great about this is they designed them so they're ready to race. You don't have to make too many different modifications and stuff to make it work. You get out of the box, they're ready to go. Because I do know some of those higher end cars you get, they're designed for experts, and sometimes you got to tweak all this stuff. This stuff's all ready to go.
Do they already have something like this, like the VR thing for drones?
Yes, all the racing drones do this first person view.
Okay. This is just cars. Okay.
Yeah, this is a car version of that, which ironically, I'm surprised it didn't go the other way, where you had the car version and then when drones picked up.
But I think it's because it's so much easier and people don't get to like fly like that as much.
Yeah.
But this, I think, makes a lot of sense, especially for younger people, because gravity is not really that much of an issue when it's already on the ground and it has rubber wheels like that.
Yeah, and you crash this car, it's probably a lot easier to fix than a $400-$500 drone.
Yeah.
Because
you probably don't have to get these like what do you call it, license with the state or something.
the FAA licenses and stuff, because I think in the US by law you're supposed to have line of sight when you're operating a drone. You're not going to have line of sight if you're wearing a VR headset.
Yeah. Exactly. I like the name of it too. Gnarly.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the prices for this, and I don't think these are that bad. This may seem like it's expensive if all you've bought have been those toy cars, because these are more hobbyist level type things. So if you can get on the early bird for $187 or $200 is kind of your ready to race kit. If you want two of them, it's $375. I should back these and then just take them.
It's really not that bad because it comes with the monitor, it comes with the controller, it even gives you 2 batteries, which not a lot of things will do that. They'll just give you batteries.
And if I remember right, these aren't even special batteries. They use double A's. Yeah. 2 AA batteries, which I think is another great thing. And I think they were smart to aim this as more of an entry level type thing than just going up to the super, high end ones. Because I'm looking at it uses state of the art 5.8 gigahertz video cameras. And yeah, this is like, I really love this idea. Maybe it's because I'm honestly just a giant kid. I never grew up. So like this one's a back for me. Is this a back for you?
It's a track for me. I mean, it's cool. I don't think that I'll have as much fun as other people. Well, but it's a track for me.
Okay. I was going to make a joke about the size of your apartment, but I won't.
Right. I think it's cool though. I mean, it's pretty much a back if I were to buy it for somebody else and just use theirs. Yeah. I guess.
That's what you do. Is like, do I know anybody who owns a giant warehouse that we could make a pretty sick course for? Add jumps and stuff.
I could go up to the church and do it.
Oh, that'd be cool. All right, so cousin, now it is time for our sack of the week. And so I have to. A lot of people don't understand why we have the sack of the week. The problem was Drew and I would always find these cool projects. We would never find a project that would sack because we're like, I don't want to waste that spot for a sack because there's this cool thing I want to share. So we have artificially introduced this because this is the only time we actually sack projects.
Yeah, and it's fun. It's fun.
So my question to you, cousin, is, emojis are all the rage now, right?
Oh, yeah. They just added 69 new emojis to the iPhone app.
How would you like to have an emoji of your face? Even though that doesn't work for you because you're a Twitch streamer and you have custom emotes.
Yeah.
But if you did...
I could see people wanting it. They have those... What are those things called? The ones on Snapchat. That looks like... I don't even know. Bitmoji. The Bitmoji.
Oh, the Bitmojis.
Yeah. People like those things.
So what this guy wants to do is he has a project called the Umoji, and it will personalize emojis to your face.
Okay.
So I can see the idea. That's okay. He's looking to raise $38,000.
Just $38,000?
Yeah.
Oh man.
And so this is the problem with it is so he kind of does his sell is that he's going to make texting more fun. He wrote texting TXTING. That annoys me. I think I'm getting old, cousin.
What? That shortens it by 1 letter.
Yeah, and he like throughout the whole thing he puts text as TXT. I'm just saying. So that's one of the problems. And the other thing is, so he says he needs $50,000 to pay, which will pay to get the app made by a Melbourne company called M5859. So he's not an actual app developer, and I think he's looking for a super high end one. And then he says the money raised will also help market the app so it stays at the top of the download list as well, keeping the app regularly updated. And then he's like, the app requires face recognition technology as well as filters to adjust the photo. The majority of that $50,000 is spent making, this is Australian dollars too, so whatever dingleberries they use over there.
What?
I just alienated anybody who listens to the show in Australia. I apologize.
I have Australian family members.
Don't they pay in Dingleberries?
Oh, they don't. They pay in crocodiles.
Oh man, if you guys aren't watching the video version, you'll just see this reaction on Jane's face. Is like, KT, you're an idiot. They use crocodiles. Get it right.
Exactly. Umlaut emoji, yes.
And then so here's the thing: is the app will be free with a limited amount of free filters for the user to do blah blah blah. And then once they use all the free filters, then you'll have to have in-app purchases and stuff. Mm-hmm. That's all he provides about this. That's it.
Yeah, he doesn't have any art.
He doesn't have any mock-ups. His video
Hi guys,
breaks the cardinal rule. Don't film in portrait mode.
But he's bringing out the TXT world because he's using his iPhone to do this.
He has two back.
Makes everyone think that he himself uses his phone. So he's talking to people that also use their phone.
Yeah, I don't know. So he has two backers so far. They almost got $100. I have a feeling it's him. My other problem with this is if you look at the tiers, there's only one tier that you can donate, and that's for 20 Aussie dollars, which is 15 in the US, and then they'll give you a free in-app purchase. So if you pay 20 or more, you'll get free filters upon downloading the app, and that's also supposed to be delivered in June. It's March right now, so that's 3 months.
Yeah.
From the time we're recording.
So is he just going to hand them $50,000?
Pretty much, and then expect them to make an app in 3 months. Like, it's possible to make an app in 3 months. Making a good app in 3 months is questionable.
Yeah.
I've done enough development to know that 3 months is not a lot of time. Especially if he doesn't have like any of the graphics or like he doesn't have prototypes looking.
Yeah.
It's like you're literally starting from scratch and you sort of have an idea and you're calling it from there. Like, you know, I could see it being kind of cool, but I was like, you don't even have examples on what you're thinking.
Yeah, and I mean, Bitmoji is doing this for free.
So,
I also don't like the term because they're offering this to their backers. Like the users, they will get free in-app purchases. But the sentence he uses to talk about in-app purchases is once the user has exhausted their free filters. Yeah. Exhausted is I think it's a very negative term.
Yeah,
I don't think he should have used that.
And at that point, especially if you're using that kind of thing, so what is it? 5? You use your emoji 5 times and then it stops working. Most people I know, if it stops working, they'll be like, I'll just uninstall this app and go find somewhere else to use it.
Yeah.
So like that is why this is the sack of the week, just because.
This is his first too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Like we've kind of mentioned that like Kickstarter has kind of evolved to that point where you can't just have the idea. You need to have something more tangible and solid, especially if you're asking for large sums of money, like $50,000. You need to be, keep in mind, you're still pitching to people. You're just pitching to people for smaller amounts. I'm always of the fan. Even if you only have one tier, you should have another one that's at $1. So it has that, people kind of get that feel of low barrier to entry.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that is our sack of the week, and unfortunately, cousin, that is the entire episode of the KickCast. This is my only gripe about this show is we have so much fun, time just flies. Like, before we go, cousin, do you have anything you want to pimp?
I don't know when this is going to be shot out there, but I have my 1-year anniversary of Twitch and Kitchen stream tomorrow evening.
Fancy. So. Are you gonna cook Korean spicy ramen noodles?
No, I actually I have subs, and my subs one time a month can suggest an ingredient, and one time a month, the last Wednesday of every month. So if you're watching this after tomorrow, which is March 29th, then come to the last Wednesday of next month, April, because my subs get to choose one ingredient, and I'm going to put all of those one ingredients into one recipe. So tomorrow I'm going to make my first time to do this thing.
Are you secretly an Iron Chef and didn't tell me about this?
No, I'm not. Speaking of, did you see iJustine is going to be on, like, Chopped or something?
That's not going to end well.
I don't know. I mean, I don't have access to TV, so...
Have you ever seen her on her YouTube channel when she's cooking stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
Yeah. So I really wanted to see it, but then, like, we stopped house sitting and I didn't have access to the TV anymore, so now I have no idea how it's going to go. It's probably going to be on the internet, though.
Yeah.
Knowing her.
So, yeah, make sure you guys check out Cousin Jane's stuff, because I think she's an awesome cousin. Don't tell my other ones that. And so you can find her on Twitter at JaneTV. You can find her on Twitch and Kitchen at twitch.tv/Jane_DS.
And I post my schedule on there, so if you ever want to see me, my schedule is on my channel info.
All the cool stuff, and whenever I get to actually editing them, you'll see past episodes of Nom's podcast where Cousin and I, like, do stupid things like...
Once upon a time.
Like eating spicy Korean noodles in 10 minutes so you can't feel your face.
Yeah, and then having horrible acid reflux for the next, like, 3.5 hours. Yeah, for that, yeah.
So, Cousin, thank you so much for being on the show. We appreciate it. And for all of you guys who watch at home, we appreciate it too. Make sure you guys check out our website. What show is this? KickCast.
KickCast, not Nom's podcast.
I almost said Double Burst.
Oh, yeah. That's totally not right.
Yeah, so check out, I almost did it again, kickcast.net, or just go to ktdata.net. It links all to the same place with all the stuff.
You know what this is. You're the one watching it.
Yep, and our next episode is going to be, wow, it's already April?
Yep.
Jeez.
Saturday is April 1st.
It's going to be April 11th, and Drew should be back for more shenanigans and stuff. Until then, my friends, bye-bye.